Grief broke me open in ways I never saw coming, and what fell out surprised everyone, especially me. I thought losing someone meant losing yourself too, but somewhere between the funeral flowers wilting and the casseroles piling up in the fridge, I started to realize that grief wasn't just an ending, it was the strangest, most brutal invitation I'd ever received. Nobody tells you that rock bottom has a gift shop. You walk in hollowed out, running on obligation and autopilot, saying yes to every request because saying no feels like one more tiny death, and then one Tuesday, for absolutely no logical reason, you cancel plans, you stay home, you run a bath at 2 p.m, and something in your chest quietly exhales for the first time in months. That was my turning point. The research backs this up in ways that feel almost uncomfortably validating. Studies show that prolonged grief disorder affects roughly 10 to 15% of bereaved individuals, and those who delay self-care practices during mourning report significantly higher rates of anxiety and burnout within the first 2 years, which means the cost of ignoring yourself isn't just emotional, it's physiological and measurable. I started with the smallest, almost embarrassingly simple habit. I made my bed every single morning, not for productivity culture reasons, but because it was 1 square foot of the world I could control when everything else felt like static. Then came the journal. Not the grateful for 3 things journal that wellness influencers sell you, but the ugly, unfiltered, 3 pages of rage and snot journal that Mary Oliver probably never mentioned, where I wrote things I'd never say aloud and processed grief in real time instead of performing okayness for everyone around me. Therapists call this externalization, giving the pain a container outside your own nervous system. And the shift I noticed wasn't dramatic or cinematic, it was quiet, like a thermostat clicking off. Within about 4 months of consistent journaling and weekly therapy, my resting heart rate dropped, my sleep improved from roughly 4 broken hours to 6 to 7 continuous ones, and I stopped white-knuckling my way through social events I had no business attending. These aren't abstract feelings, these are numbers. And numbers don't lie, even when grief makes you want to. I also started saying no, like it was a complete sentence. The first time I declined a family obligation, not because I was sick, not because I had a better excuse, but simply because I needed the afternoon to exist quietly inside my own life. I felt the guilt hit like a wave, followed almost immediately by something I can only describe as self-respect. Arriving late, but arriving nonetheless. Here's the philosophical truth grief taught me that no self-help book could. Discipline and self-care isn't about perfection. It's about returning to the breath, returning to the habit, returning to yourself after every single detour, and the consistency of that return, not the grandeur of any single moment, is what actually changes you. Grief will strip you down to the studs, and if you're lucky and stubborn and just honest enough with yourself, what you build back can be something you actually want to live inside. If that resonates with you, subscribe and check out all our other topics.